fact that we have been working together for almost a decade now on the Comprehensive Africa Agricultural Development Program through the CAADP, the binary review. And through that working relationship, we have developed a lot of interest together. And it has been one of the brains behind the development of the scorecard, the BR itself, and the reporting format that we see in the development of the scorecard. But recently, after the experience of 5 rounds, it's been now forward-looking to developing a tool that will help us to make decisions, not just to plan and generate scores on a card that anybody really uses anyway, but to making sure that we are able to inform decision from what we do. So this person I'm introducing, his name is, we know him as Sam, but his name is Samuel Binin. He's a son, an illustrious son of the continent. He's originally from Ghana, but he's now based in the United States. He will tell you why he relocated, or Japad, as we say in Nigeria. But it's been very instrumental to many developments in the continent. And this is what we encourage, that even when you are outside the continent, you will still carry the heart and the body of the continent, and maybe even the burden of the continent wherever you go. And he's so passionate about the continent anyway. So Sam Binin, as we call him, has been he recently retired from the International Food Policy Research Institute, attaining the retirement age, I guess, as the Deputy Director for Africa. So, as I said, he's been carrying Africa wherever he goes. And he has developed a tool that we will be testing today. And he will want all of us to buy into this idea of developing it too. I also invite some of my PhD students to join, because I know that this is not just useful for policy, it's also useful for research, and we can adapt it to different research work stream. So without much ado, I would like to welcome Sam Bini, the owner of Equal Know. You probably know why he wants everybody to have equal knowledge of what he does. To take us through this tool that he has developed and how we can use it to prioritize support for agri-food system investment in Africa. Sam, without much ado, I'd like to welcome you to take your presentation.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Wale. Okay, so before I start, I had told Wale that this was going to be an interactive session. So I don't have a formal presentation. I only have a few slides. And so I had hoped that Wale had forwarded the link to download the app, the tool, which is basically an app. It's just in Excel. And so that you all have. So I'll just present some brief slides, and then I will just go through it, but mostly relying on you to be designing your scenarios. And then at the end, we'll do a Q&A based on your own results. And that is how we're all going to learn. Okay, so if you don't have it, Wale, can you post the link back in the chat so that people can download it as I make some introductory remarks? Because like I said, I don't have a presentation. I'm going to rely on the participants. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. But I've shared it earlier, but I can also put in the chat box now.
Yes,
thank you.
Please do that. Yeah, thank you. So so today I want to basically do a live demonstration. Basically, it's a guided demonstration through what Wale has said. And thank you, Wale, for this invitation. We had talked about it a long time ago, and I'm glad that it is happening. Like you said, we were supposed to do it last month, but I was traveling at the time and also in transition, and it was not convenient for me to do so. Who am I? Wale has already touched on several of these points, but you can see my full name. So I am the owner of Equal Know and also creator of this decision support tool for prioritizing agri-food investments. I retired from IFPRI just about a little over a month ago. And yes, I am from Ghana. Winneba, if you know Winneba, those of you who may be familiar with Ghana and Winneba, is famous for the Abuachino Festival. and I'm giving you my education background here. So yeah, I did my first degree and bachelor's in Ghana, University of Ghana, in Fansville before University of Ghana. And then I went to UMass to get my master's, and then UC Davis to get my PhD. So throughout my studies and also my work at IFPRI and IRI before that, and also a little bit after my bachelor's, I worked for a consultancy that was doing a lot of investment prioritization work. So throughout, I see myself as an econometrician with background in natural resource economics and also development economics, mostly looking at national strategies and public investment for accelerating agri-food systems transformation in Africa. And as Wale said, yeah, so when I joined IFPRI, starting in say 2000, I started 2005, but mostly starting in 2006 or so when CAADP was really picking up. I have been providing analytical support to CAADP, and Wale has already mentioned many of the things that we were doing. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, we were in Uganda, looking at the fifth BR data that has come in, and looking at analyzing the issues to help write the next report. I've worked in several specific countries that I've published on, but also many of the regional sub-regions and also the continent as a whole. So before we talk about what we're going to do today, I just thought briefly what is Equal Know. So this is what I established after retiring from IFPRI. So for me, my perspective is that data is not just numbers. It holds insight to tomorrow's decisions and outcomes. So it is up to us to glean, to look into, to gain insight, to analyze, however you want to put it, to use that data to help us make decisions. Decisions, we can't make decisions on the past, right? It's already history. So any decisions we make, we are looking forward. And that is what I am hoping that we can do. So at Equal Know, what we are doing is that we are looking to provide innovative data analytic tools that empower stakeholders to self-analyze data for effective engagement in agenda setting processes. And so the mission is that we want to make it appealing and easier for all stakeholders to make data-informed decisions that lead to sustainable and equitable outcomes. And the flagship is DST for AFIN. So even though it may seem very specific for the agri-food sector, it is really a versatile and customizable tool that we can apply to any decision-making context and also a level of analysis. And so we'll look at what I have developed for using Ghana as an example. But based on your own reactions, we will explore the versatility of this tool. So just a little bit background, just to set the framework for what we are going to do for looking at the tool, is that we all know the fundamentals, right, of why we need to prioritize investment, the issues, and also some of the challenges. Is that there are competing objectives, limited resources, and also methodological challenges. So we need some kind of futuristic analysis to predict what we know, to predict the future based on what we know from the past, right? And so the typical tool or method, which I'm sure you've all gone through in your economics classes, is that we calculate a net present value, which is equal to the discounted benefits minus the discounted cost. And then we select the investments that have the higher NPVs. We prioritize those over those that have lower NPVs. But we know that this sounds easy, but methodologically it's very challenging because we need to identify the output and outcomes and also obtain reliable monetized estimates of the impacts. And it's difficult to identify all the outcomes and also the outputs of certain investments. And how to adjust the estimates to account for uncertainties in the future is also an issue. And many of the social and environmental impacts of investments are also difficult to monetize. Similarly, we also have multiple outcomes and numerous trade-offs. So while we are trying to improve growth, for example, we may be harming the environment. And so these are all trade-offs we need to think about. And most investments, whoever is making the decisions, we also need to balance between analytical efficiency and political responsiveness. So even though politicians, or even personally, when you are making your own investment decisions, you know where you can gain the big bucks from, but you also have to consider certain commitments that you have made, right? So we need to balance these two. If you look at the literature right now, the bulk of it is on prioritizing investments on infrastructure. But in the context that we are looking at in agri-food systems or agri-food investments, there are very few. The recent ones that many of you may know, or some of you may know, these are add-on investment modules to a CGE model. So for example, some of my colleagues at IFPRI have developed the AIDA, Agricultural Investment for Development Analyzer. We also have the RIAPA model. Colleagues at FAO also have this policy optimization modeling tool. The main issues here is that it's with identifying the underlying investment productivity elasticities. Usually these are obtained from outside the CGE model, right? Either from some econometrics or using estimates from some other countries, from past literature, and they assume first over the simulation periods. And so even though they are CGE add-on modules, because of that, they are not really, because they are not internalized, so they tend to be partial equilibrium effects. And some of the, if you are familiar with CGE and you see some of the simulations for the investment results, we think that some of it may also be beyond the country's resources possibilities. And so since we started working on this, I worked with several modelers and CGE modelers. And at the beginning of the CAADP process, when we're going around helping countries to develop their naives, at the time, it seemed that, yeah, we need something much simple that we can present to countries, preferably something in Excel that countries themselves can understand the modeling and also the investment analysis that we're doing. So this has been a work in something that works for a long time. So here's an overview. I'm not going to go through the theory and everything. I'm just giving you an overview, and then we're just going to go straight into the app. Okay. So DST for IFIN, which is Decision Support Tool for Prioritizing Agri-Food Investments, is a partial equilibrium simulation optimization model. And here, what it does is that it simulates the cost-effective budget allocation to achieve specified targets of development outcomes. So for example, reduce food insecurity by 25%, either by itself, or you can do the simulation in addition to others. Say, for example, increase agricultural growth by 1.5 percentage points. And the part of the innovation here is that the underlying investment outcome predictive parameters, we estimate this using machine learning methods, machine learning regularized regression methods, which have high predictive performance. So if you compare it to like your OLS or some of the famous causative models that you have, because here we're interested in prediction rather than causation, these parameters are the most effective ones to use in such a model. It is also Excel-based and user interactive, so we think it is highly palatable to a whole range of people. Basically, if you're interested in planning, research, advocacy, like Wally mentioned in the beginning. And we also present all the data that we use in the estimation of the parameters so that you can see, you can make your own judge. Because like any economic model, garbage in, garbage out, right? I mean, if your data going in is not good, no one can really rely or trust the output. So what we emphasize here is the data going in to estimate the investment outcome predictive parameters, because that in any economic model is what it relies on, right? So if you have good data, historic data to estimate those, then you're almost 85%, 90% of the work done. So Wally has forwarded it to you. So right now, I think that everybody should just open the app, open your Excel file, and then we'll come to it shortly. But that is what we're going to look at. So we'll look at how to create scenarios, we'll look at the features, and then we'll run the simulations as you have created. So I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to show you what you can do, and then you will select what you want, and then we'll independently run our scenarios. And then I'll just ask some of you to present what you have seen, and then we'll do a Q&A from that. So for the model to run, it's a macro model. So basically we have a macro in there. And so you have to just, before you open it, you need to activate the model. You need to activate the solver because we use the Excel solver. And then you also need to activate, or enable the macros basically by activating the Visual Basic. So if you use these steps in your main, you have a developer. Some of them, the developer may not be there. So I think you can Google it on the side to see how to activate the Visual Basic for applications and also enable the solver. It will give you the steps, but basically the steps are like this, right? You view your code, you go to the tools, references. Basically, you want to go to these references and then check the VBA solver. Some of you may already have been using macros and using the solver, so it may be checked already. But if it is not, then when we run it, it may not run because it's not reading the macros. So this is all I want to say on that. So this example on Ghana, like I said, it's just an example on Ghana. It just builds on work that I have done in the past. It is not the model for Ghana. It is simply a model that is customized to the data that we have compiled and customize it to a decision-making framework or a decision-making context. But we can customize the model, like I said, to any. It's just one that we'll be looking at. And like I said, if you believe in the data is already in the model, you see it. If you believe in it, then you may have confidence in the results. So the key thing here is that for DST for IFIN, there's an infinite number of scenarios, right? You can create whatever you want based on the questions that you want to answer. So which all of you will get a chance today to create your own and then see the results. And then based on that, whether you are getting your model is running or not, and based on your questions, then we'll all learn, right? For me, I've built a tool. I've only run some scenarios, but I don't know what anybody wants to do. So it is now up to you. I also don't know what decision-making context you want. So based on your questions, we can understand what the future looks like for DST for IFIN. So this is my last slide, basically just giving an intro to the variables that we're about to see in this example. So it is based on Ghana. And like I said, this is an investment decision variable. So here the investment, we are measuring the investment using government expenditure on 13 functions of government and sub-functions like defense, agriculture, which is disaggregated into crops, livestock, forestry, fishery. We also have transport and communications. We have education, health, social protection, etc. We also have some local government expenditure in there. And then we have 31 outcomes, which include indicators on agri-food and other sectors of the economy, covering production, growth, income, unemployment, trade, education, nutrition. You can see it's a whole range of things. So whatever you're interested in, you can create scenarios on. And then we also have some fixed factors. So basically the fixed factors were used in estimating the predictive parameters, but in the simulation, so first we estimate the parameters and then we put the parameters in Excel where we build a simulation model. So in the simulation, the fixed factors are fixed. So basically they don't change. So when you run your scenario, only the investments change to achieve your outcome. But so the fixed factors become sources of shocks. So when first you run your scenario, you can shock the model to say what happens if these factors change. So for these sources of shocks, we have private sector investment, we have domestic and foreign sources, we have ODA, we have broad fiscal and monetary and macro factors like money supply, tax rates, foreign exchange rate, inflation. We also have some government factors, biophysical, things like rainfall and drought, etc. So this is telling you that basically we can build a model to our desire. But for this particular context, I built it on this decision framework as a tool that government can use, maybe a larger government or government in Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Planning, and then these are the factors that they are interested in. So now let's go to the tool. Like I said, I hope that everybody has their tool. I'm just going to switch and then bring up the tool. Wale, at this point, I think we can entertain some 1 or 2 questions if somebody is having a hard time opening their tool or something like that, so that, because like I said, I really want people to follow based on their own tool. Is that doable? Yes.
That's doable.
So anybody,
yes, please,
yes.
If you have any questions, raise your hand or just unmute your microphone. Thanks.
Okay, going 1, 2, 3. I guess people are following. And okay, so while we'll move on, and then definitely towards the end, I'm sure that we'll have more questions. So when you open the tool,
maybe I can ask a question.
Yes, go ahead, Wale. Yes,
they're trying to understand you. Yeah, I think that you have 3, if I call it 3 blocks. You have investment, outcomes, and phase factors. But you also have 13 variables under investment, 31 under outcomes, and 13 under phase factor. Is it magic or magical things around 13, 31?
No. So basically, no, that's a good question. That's a good question. So at the end of it, I said that we can customize it based on the decision-making framework. So when I was building this model for Ghana, because it's in Excel, I have some limitations. So I'm trying to split things equally between the investment and the fixed factors. So I try to make them equal. And so then I got 13. And so when you add it up, it becomes 26. In Excel, we can only have 100 constraints. And so, and each constraint have two an upper and a lower limit. And so the remaining is what I assigned to the outcomes. And so that is what gave me 13. So if you add them all up, you are coming to around 90 something. So it is not magical. And I just selected them based on the building. You could just limit the outcomes to 10 if you want, if that is what you want in the model. But remember, so I've built this to demonstrate. But if the person, the one who is interested to use it, we have to customize it to their context. So they can say that, no, this is too big, I don't want it. Let's focus on these ones. And then we'll customize the model for them, right? So that is the idea, is to customize the model for the person who is interested in using it to make actual decisions, right? For research purposes, we can do the same. We can open it up, make it even a bigger model, have 100 outcomes, have 20, 30 investment, if we can build it that way. So there are no limitations. The only limitations come with Excel. And we will, at the end, we will see how we can broaden it beyond Excel to look at more larger models, right? Yeah. So thanks, Wally.
The second question is that on the investment, does it have to be mainly government investment or private sector investments? Or how do you combine both private and public investments?
Okay, so the investments, again, because this is a user framework, right? So like I said, we need to customize it for the users. So first I need to know who the user is. And so I have customized this model with the user, like somebody whose decision variables. So basically the investments are decision variables where the person is making decisions over certain things. Those are the things that they have control over. So for a government, a decision variable that they have control over is the allocation of the public budget. That is why the investment is the public, looks at the public sector functions, right? So the same government, we can define the investments differently. We can define them specific, like actual road built, actual number of extension people hired and things like that. But investments always have to be decision variables, the things that the person has control over. So you cannot have things that are beyond your control. Otherwise, then it is not a decision variable, right? So if you make a decision and somebody else also has to make a decision, then it doesn't work. What it means is that for the private sector, then we can also make the decisions over the private sector investments that they have control over. So that in this model, your question related to private sector, it is not under government control. That is why we put them in the other factors. What it means is that government makes the decisions over the public sector, and the private sector make their own decisions. And so that is outside the government control. Same with some of the variables that we have put there, right? So that is why we are separating the decision variables. So in this example, it is only allocation of the public budget, but that is not the only way you can do it. Like I said, first we need to figure out what the decision variables are, and that is what defines the decision-making context. Yeah, and then we need to collect the data and
Thank
then
you.
run them out. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Thanks, Wale. Good questions. So people, I'm hoping and assuming that you all have opened your Excel file. If you haven't, please put it in the chat box, because it may be difficult for you to follow or uninteresting, because I'm not going to run anything. I'm just going to show you things, and then I'm going to rely on you on your thing. So when you open your Excel file, you will see this. It will take you to the README. Automatically, it takes you to the README, and the README, like your normal app or any app, you can go and see what the app does. So basically, this is what it is. It tells you what the app is. I've already explained some of it, and how to actually run a simulation, create a simulation and run it. Okay, which we'll go through now. And then from the README, your next the next thing you can see, why is this thing not allowing me to go there? Is the data. Sorry, my mouse is disappearing. Okay, folks, if you are logged in, just go to the data tools, the data section. So the data tab will show you all the data thing while it waits. And let me stop sharing, and then so that I can be more instructive here, because something is not working for me. Give me a second, folks.
Yes, we'll wait for you, please.
Yes. I have a new computer, so Wale, I think there's maybe some comments in the chat. So if you can help me manage that while I deal with this thing. I'm having a bit of a technical issue. Let me escape here.
Okay, please, you can share your comments, your questions now while waiting for Sam to get back on his presentation. So I've not seen any in the chat, so please, let's share now. Otherwise, you can raise your hand, and you'll be invited to speak. Thank you.
Oh, come on. It's annoying.
Yeah, I'm waiting for your questions, please. Raise your hand or just unmute yourself. By the way, has anybody been able to download the app and you can open on your Excel? Just say yes, no in the chat, please. Let's have a quick feedback if you have been able to download the app and you can open the Excel. Yes. Joseph, did you say yes? Yes, you are. Yes, thank you.
Yes, I've been able to open.
Okay, fantastic. Yes, can we have more feedback, please? We can hear we would like to hear your voice too. No, it's fine. So that we don't just hear the voice of the speaker and myself in the recordings. Okay, so please say yes or wait for me or something like that. We can wait for you. Yeah, Opeyemi, you're saying I have downloaded it and I'm able to open, but I'm not able to edit. My Excel is
Yeah,
asking
you
for
can't edit. You
okay.
cannot edit. It's not supposed
Oh,
to be edited.
okay.
It's an app. It's like when you
It's
open your
allowed.
Uber app, you can't edit the Uber app. You can only enter information in the specified places, which we'll get to that. So just hold
Oh,
on a
okay.
second. Yeah.
Okay, please. Yeah, that's a good feedback for us. Yes, more comments, please. Yeah, we picked some things from your comments, downloaded it. Yes, not just download, but also open it, please.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. All
Yeah.
right.
So
Thank
now let's move on. How for you folks? Oh no, that's something else. Okay. All right. So let's get back to it. Yeah, sorry guys, because my thing, like I told you, I have a new computer. So when I shared it, it didn't allow me to navigate. I couldn't navigate. But now I think I can, even though it's still not fully working. Yeah. So you can see it, right? Wale, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, please, you
Okay.
can see your screen. Yes.
Thank you. Yes. So I already talked about the README. So next, you go to the data. So here, the data presents all the data that I have used, right, in estimating the predictive factors. So there were three things that I talked about. I talked about the investments, the fixed factors, and then the outcomes. So you can see the data is all there. You scroll down, and then it defines. There's a definition. It gives you all the definitions are in the model, right? So you can scroll down, and then you can see everything. So at least you know what the estimates are. And then here, yeah, basically that's what it is. So you have the data. You can make your own judgment. I had some issues with the data, a few things, but I'm not going to focus on that today. And then, okay. So this is not what you are seeing. I had to open another file. I had to open another file for this to work. Sorry. And so from data, then you will see simulations. You guys will see simulation. You will see some of the other things because I'm using a different file. But you see simulations. So this is where you can edit, right? The edit means this is your interface. This is the user interface. This is where you answer, you put questions. I mean, you answer the questions to create your simulation. Don't worry about it for now. We'll come to it because this is where we would work. And then your next tab will be the result. So once you run a simulation, the results, when you are successful, the results will come here. At the top, the simulation, what you simulated will be summarized so that you don't lose track of what you did. And then the remaining will be your results. So the results are presented as percentage change from a baseline, right? Either percentage change or percentage point change. We'll talk about that later. And then I also have some charts. And then your key part is the investment. It will give you your investments that will help you achieve the outcomes that you have selected. We'll talk about that later. And then so the budget is presented in different ways as percentage change, as percent of the total budget, etc. And then there's next to it, there'll be one more tab. So the other tab will be a detailed tab showing you the actual simulation behind the model, some of it, right? Not everything, but some of it, where you can go and do some troubleshooting. So if you run a scenario and it doesn't work, it will take you back to the simulations tab, and then you can go to this tab here, which will be it will only be one tab remaining. It will follow some symbols. We'll explain that later. And then you can go there and do some to learn why your model is not running. So now let's go to the main part. Let's go back to the simulations. So right now we are here. So I want each of you to now create your own scenario. The first thing you have to do is to select a baseline. Okay, so if you click on the drop-down list, you can see years from 2018 to 2022. Basically, we are saying that choose the baseline that you are interested in to create your scenario, right? So that your results will be relative to that baseline. The idea of having different baselines is that since you are running since this is a decision-making framework, the years may represent different things for you to run a scenario from. So for example, we know that 2020 was a COVID year, right? So basically you can run a scenario to see the investments that you need to come out from a bad year, for example, right? Depending on where you are, 2021 may represent something else, or you can just run it from the most recent year, which is 2022. So it doesn't really matter. It's up to you what you want to run. But also because this is a simulation, it doesn't mean that you only need to pick one all the time. You can use the different years to run a simulation. So for right now, just pick one, any one that you want, and then we'll just move ahead. And then later on, you have the app, so you can go and do your own simulations later on. Okay. The next thing is to pick the number of outcomes. So here you enter between 1 and 5. So in this model, what we have done is that we have limited the number of outcomes to 5. It doesn't have to be, we could open it up to 10 or to all the outcomes, which is 31. In a way, we have opened it to 31, but we've restricted it in the sense that 5 is the one that you can set a specific target for. So it becomes an equal sign, right? So in our simulation. So yeah, pick the number that you want. It doesn't matter. You want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only reason why you have to pick it first is that depending on the number you pick, then the selection opens up for you. If you pick 1, then you can only enter information in outcome 1, right? So that is up to you. If you want to do more than 1, it's up to you. So please enter your own scenario. I, for example, have picked 3. So the 3 outcomes open for me, right? And then next, you pick the outcome that you want. In the drop-down list, all the 31 outcomes will show up, right? All the 31 outcomes. So you can pick what you want, right? Right now, you may not know which all of them mean, but I've labeled them such that it is a bit intuitive. But you also have the data section you can go to, and then you already know what they are, right? So I pick like food production growth rate. You can pick what you want. So please pick what you want, depending on the number of outcomes that you have selected. You don't have to worry about anything. Just pick what you want, and then let's move on. Okay. So the interesting thing is that when you pick, depending on what you pick, right? Depending on the list that you pick, on your right-hand side, when you pick it, it tells you what the baseline value is, right? So that it gives you an idea what the baseline value is, and it helps you to now pick the target that you want to do, right? So that you know that you are doing something that is realistic, right? If you pick some large numbers, then it becomes very unrealistic. But here, we have restricted it to minus 25 and 25% of percentage point. Just in this demonstration, in the customization, we can do it according to what the person wants, right? And so now pick some targets, please. Pick the targets here. You have to enter the value between those things. So just pick some targets as you want. And you have to remember, depending on the indicator, a desirable outcome could be negative or positive, right? So for example, I have obesity. For me, obesity, we want it to go down, right? We don't want it to go up. So if you pick a positive value, then basically you're saying you want to increase obesity. Okay, so that is what it means. So, okay, so I'm assuming that everybody has done it. I have done mine. And then the next one is that I told you we had 31 outcomes, right? We had 31 outcomes, but we can only simulate 5 outcomes in this one, 5 specific outcomes. Now we set the target for all the other outcomes, right? We can select from 1 to 25 here. So basically we say that we want the other outcomes to not increase by a certain amount, right? Here we're saying that we want a positive change, right? We want a positive change for all the other outcomes. In another scenario, we could have constructed this to say 0, where we can fix all the other outcomes to not change. So here, if you want an unconstrained model, you can select 100. So please pick what you want. Like I said, this is just a demo. Based on your questions, we will learn more what we can do and why I chose this. This, like I said, I just built it for what I like. And then the next one is that we have weights on the investments. Okay, so the investment, we can weight them equally or unequally, right? Remember what I said is that even though investments have a cost, which we're going to deal with later, you may prefer certain investments over another. And so that is where your weights come in. So if you have some desired weights, then you can pick unequal. But if you want to weight everything the same, then you pick equal. So I pick equal. If you pick unequal, then you have to enter weights that add up to 100. And then on the right-hand side, it will turn red until it adds up to 100. And then it will turn to green. That allows you to know that you have entered the weights. You know that the model can't, if you enter unequal weights and you run the model, you may get results, but it may not be meaningful because it will be outside of bounds, right? So it is up to you to make sure that the weights add up to 100. And then the next one is to pick, to say whether or not you want to run a cost relative or a cost neutral scenario. So basically the cost neutral scenario says that all investments cost the same, which we know is not true. But you can do that just to run a simulation to say you're assuming they cost the same, and then you can run the simulation and then you can pick your results. But here we want to go through everything. So I would suggest some of you can pick unequal, some of you can pick a cost relative, or can pick a cost neutral. So I want a cost relative scenario. So I pick yes for cost relative. Pick what you want. And then if you pick no, you don't have to do anything for the rest until we come to the fixed factors. But if you pick yes, then you need to enter a cost, the unit cost. So we've calculated the unit cost from the data for you, right? Because we had the data. So we've calculated the unit cost and we've put it here. You can use it, or if we have built a model for somebody else, they may have a different unit cost, or they may believe that the unit cost is different. And then you can enter it. You can enter your own. And so feel free to use what is in the app, or feel free to enter your own. Basically here, I have bounded it such that to enter your own, we want it to be within the cost estimate that we have identified. So you can enter between -25 to 25. So if you enter a negative value, it means that you are reducing the cost for that investment. The unit cost, if you enter a positive value, you are increasing it. It doesn't really matter at this point because, like I said, we are just demoing how the model can work. The tool works because the model itself, we have to build it again for the user. And then you have a budget. So we pick a budget. How much do you want to allocate? You can pick a 0. If you pick 0, basically it allocates the existing expenditure, right? You can also pick a positive value to say that I want to allocate some budget. So I pick, I can pick 5. So basically I'm allowing 5%. I'm giving 5% of the total government expenditure as my budget that I want to allocate to this scenario. And then next we say, since we build this with the CAADP framework in mind, we said, okay, how much of that budget do you want to give to the ag sector? So, we know we have like the 10% budget expenditure. So I can put 10%. You can put whatever you want. Factor entered is not in the list. Retry. What did I do? Cancel. Why is my thing not working? I'm having a problem here. But don't worry, you guys go ahead. Okay. I think I picked the wrong model. Okay, you enter the budget share, you want to go to the ag sector. And then when you are done, you pick you select the fixed factors, right? So basically I told you that when you run the simulation, the fixed factors, they are fixed in the simulation. So basically they are fixed at the baseline value. But you can say that I want to shock it. I want to shock the model. So you can pick a fixed factor and then you shock the model. So basically you're saying increased rainfall or decreased rainfall, increased drought, increased private sector investment, increased money supply, decreased money supply. Those are the variables that we had before, remember? So, and then that allows you to pick the factor that you want to simulate. And then on the right-hand side, it will again give you the baseline values. And then you can go ahead and then pick how much you want to shock it by. You can also leave it empty for now. We run the results and then we can come back and shock it. But some of you can pick it, some of you can leave it empty. I just want a variety of things to happen. And then the last thing is that you want to pick you want to select the KRLS value to enter. I'm going to stop sharing this model. I'm going to come back. I'm going to select a different, what I have does not work. So I don't want to use that. Yeah, it's not working. Let me open this one. Yeah, give me a second. I'll be there. I'll be with you shortly.
Okay, thanks, Sam. While waiting for Sam to get the other presentation up and running, can we have some of your quick feedback if you're already following from your end? How is it working from your end? Are you getting it or you need some assistance? Please. You can unmute yourself. You can put in the chat, please. Anyone?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm back, Wale. Let's go on and then we'll run it.
Okay,
and then, yeah. So yeah, I just changed it. The previous one, when I was entering things, it was not working. So yeah. I think that because I'm in the sharing mode, it doesn't allow me to work as though I'm on my computer. So that's a problem for me, which is okay. Yeah. So I have to run it without sharing. When I share it, it disables the underlying cursor and everything. And so that's a problem. Okay. And then the last one is that in the last thing to do now, remember I told you we use the machine learning method to estimate the investment outcome parameters, the predictive parameters. We use 3 methods: kernel-based regression, regularized least squares, survey vector regression, and then the lasso regularized regression. So basically, your last thing is to pick the estimates that you want to use, right? The estimated ones. We didn't go through the theory and present you some of the results, but you would have seen that these models, they perform differently. But we can also treat them in a way that allows them to predict very closely. They deal with outliers differently. So there's trend. As an analyst, you want to be rigorous. So that is why we are using all 3. So you can just pick whatever you want at this point. But if you know some of the background, you have more information. Again, the idea is that as an analyst, you run many scenarios and then you figure it out. So at this point, I guess everybody has created a scenario. So the next thing is to do is to run it. You just click run, and then you should be able to run your model. Like I said, because mine, I'm sharing it, it doesn't run. I have to go offline and then run it. I mean, stop sharing it to run. So I am relying on you guys. So please run it. I'm going to stop sharing and then I'll run mine in the back. And so, yeah. So this is the tool, the app, right? So right now, when you click to run, it takes a while. Usually it's about 3 to 5 minutes. And then if you look in the bottom part of the Excel file, you will see some progress of everything running. And then once it runs, a pop-up screen will come to inform you whether you have obtained a feasible solution or not. So right now we just wait. You also can't do anything. You just have to wait. Don't interrupt it. Otherwise, all your work is gone. And so Wale, I think this is a good time to ask people we've been going through. It's a good time to ask some questions. And then once the model has run, whether or not you got a feasible solution, then we can come back and then look at the results and then discuss further.
Okay, yes, please. Thanks, Sam. Yes, can we have your feedback now? Are you running from your end or what's happening? Let's have your feedback, please. I don't want to call your name, but please just say something now.
Yeah,
Just
I
to
need your
confirm
feedback
you're
because
following.
this is what it is. Like I said, I'm not doing a formal presentation, and I'm not presenting my results to you because I want you to look at yours. And then from that, you have the experience. And then from your own questions, we can all learn now, right? So that is what it is. So please don't feel shy. Ask questions, because as you are entering things, you may have had issues like the person said, oh, I couldn't edit, but now you can see you can edit, but only in the sections that you are allowed to. Yeah. If we build a model specifically for you, then we'll allow you some edit rights. That means that you can create, you can enhance the model as you like. Yeah. But at this point, this is a public, it's a public thing available to prevent people from editing and then things don't run. That is all it is. Anybody has run yet, has gotten results or no results? Okay, Wale, 2 people have raised their hand.
Yes,
okay,
let me call.
Yes,
okay, go ahead.
call them.
Sam, go ahead and call them. Yes, please.
Oh, okay. I saw Odunda and Taiwo. So first, I don't know the order, but Odunda and then Taiwo. Or Odunda put his hand down. So Taiwo, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation so far. I just have a question. While trying to run this, from my end, is not the rolling button is not working. So I don't know what might have caused that.
Can you enter information in the selected areas?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So before you do that, you need to enhance macros. You need to enable the macros in Excel, because this is a macro run file. So you need to enable macros, and then also enable the solver. And so you go to the developer. I've shown a slide. You go to the developer tools. You can also just in the help section of Excel, just type how to say enable macros, for example. It will show you a reference where you can tick Visual Basic applications, and then you tick the solver. So once you have that, then when you click the run, it will run. Okay, so please try it and then come back. Odunola.
Okay, sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Can you please help us with the slide you described the other time, how to enable the solver or server, so that we'll be able to screenshot and follow the process. Thank you.
Yeah, but I'm giving you another way to find it. It's just in Excel, type help, how to enable macros. It's that simple. It will just give you a thing. But meanwhile, I'll share the slide, and then you can see. Odunola, go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. Good evening once again, sir. I also have a question. I wanted to put in two outcomes. However, for my own interface, I wasn't able to. It wasn't the drop down. Wasn't the list of the variables wasn't popping up for the second outcome. So I left it as just one outcome. So I had that issue with.
In the
I had
first, before you
Yes,
pick, before you go to the list, it asks you the number of outcomes you want to simulate. So you probably just picked one. If you pick one, you can't do two. You have to first pick two before you go to the drop-down list.
Yes, sir. So I picked two, and the second outcome was highlighted. However, the drop-down button was not bringing out the list of variables for me to choose. So I switched it back to one outcome, since that the one outcome was fine and highlighting. However, when I wanted to run it, it then brought out a pop-up saying that I think the version of my that the version I'm using is not compatible with a code. So I wanted to ask if there's a version of Excel that is best to use with the app, or if it's compatible, or I should also just click the help button to help me navigate the error, or am I to also activate the macros? Because I haven't done that. So, and I noticed from your answer to Joseph that that's something I should do also, sir.
Okay, so two things. The macros are independent of the drawdown things. Even if it's not enabled, you should be able to set up your scenarios. So the only thing I can say is that I don't know what version you are using. I created it in Windows 11 and the latest Microsoft tools. So if it's not running, you can tell me what Windows you are using. Are you using Windows 10 or Windows 11?
Yes.
And what version is your Excel? Windows 10. Okay.
Windows 10, yeah.
Yeah, I think Windows 10 and 11 should be compatible. So what you can do is to try again. At the top of your thing, can you see? Sometimes when you open it, you have to enable content. So if you don't enable content, you can't edit. So when you open Excel, at the top, sometimes it says enable content.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did it show up?
I think what I would do, it showed up, I clicked it, but I think I would run it again and see if I can do it. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And for Taiwo, this is the screen. It is possible also that when you open it, you see the main tab, I have developer there. Sometimes when you open Excel, you can't see the developer. So if you don't see the developer, then you have to use another way to do it. But again, this is basically the steps: developer, view code, tools, references. And so this is what I am saying. If you go to the help section, and then you say how to say enable VBA or solver, it will bring you this section. And then you just click on VBA. Most of the time, VBA is already clicked, and then all you have to do is add solver, and then it allows you to run the macro. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Sam. Sorry, please. I've been able to navigate to the developer and the view code, but whenever I click on the view code, so it's bringing out password required. I don't know. How to go ahead.
You can't because you are trying to. It's saying as though you want to edit the file, which you can't. So you need to enable it outside of that specific Excel file, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So just open another Excel, open another empty Excel, and then do it from there. And then once you do it, it's set for it. That way you are not viewing the code. Yeah. So basically, I've applied some security to my product. That's all it is. Okay. We had
thank you.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing this. All right. So good questions, people. Okay. Those who haven't asked questions, anybody has results or no results? By now, things should have run. If either your thing have run or it hasn't run, I mean, there's no way around it, right? So please let me know what's happening. Wale, please help me. I need feedback. Otherwise, I don't have anything to talk about.
Okay, guys, do you have any feedback for Sam apart from those two? And maybe those two you can run, and maybe we can just use you as a model representing the class now. Okoyemi and Taiwo. Okoyemi and Taiwo, yes. We have other people here. Emmanuel, do you want to say something, Emmanuel? First, I want to be sure that everybody is able to log into the app and you are able to pick the variables and run. I mean, let us know at what point are you stopped so that we can pick you from there. If you don't have a specific feedback from you, it's difficult to help you, right?
Yeah.
And
What is good to know whether you have run, what the model has run. If it has run, there will be a pop-up. And the pop-up will be either you have a feasible solution or you don't have a feasible solution. So just let us know what you have, whether you have a feasible solution or you don't. Or if you are not able to run it at all, you should let us know. So far, only 2 people have said they can't run it. And I think we've troubleshot that.
So maybe while waiting for them, is it possible to now modify the information on the in the app to put on data, or we can only work with this data that's already there?
Well, so I mean I have what do you call it? I am you can think of it as I am protecting my property rights, right? So yes. If I allow you to modify it, then you can go and do things on your own. So right now you can't, but yeah, so you can't edit. And the thing is that you really don't need to edit. You don't need to use your data, right? I have explained the model to you, how I developed it. So technically, if you are really interested in doing things on your own without involving me, you should be able to by using the framework that I presented. Meanwhile, the details are in a working paper scenario. But the objective for me is to be able to develop the app for users who are interested to use it to make actual decisions, right? So let's say that Ministry of Ag, Ministry of Finance wants to do this. Then I sit down with them. We agree on the decision-making framework that they are interested in and the data and everything. And then I build the app for them. So once I build the app for them, then I will allow them some room to make some changes. But the changes will not be for them to basically appropriate my model, right? It will be to appropriate the user interface, not my codes and things like that, right? It's like when you open your Uber app, you can use it however you want, but you know others may copy the Uber app and develop their own app. So, but you can't edit the Uber app to create your own. You have to find ways to copy it. So that's what it is, Wally.
Okay, that's helpful. Okay, we are still waiting for your feedback, guys. Anyone? Otherwise, we can round off in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, like I said, without feedback, it is difficult to know what else to tell you, because if you have not experienced, then it's just making a presentation where in the past, I used to make presentations, present the theory, you know, present some results, and then, but nobody actually opens the app. So we talk and then people still don't know what is it I've created. So now I'm showing you the app. This is what the app is about. So if you've used it, whether or not you have achieved results, you should let me know. And let's look at your results. You know, either of you can share your screen. We can look at your results and talk through it. That way you understand what the app is supposed to do. Otherwise, I can talk and talk and talk, and it doesn't take us anywhere.
Okay, Joseph, where are you now on the app? Is it running? Do you have some results? If you focus on two of you now. Yes, Joseph.
Yeah, presently I don't have the results yet. I'm trying to, go about, activating the solver.
Oh,
So,
you're
but
still
I've been able
activating
to
the
do that
solver.
now.
Oh, you have done that. Okay, we'll wait for you the
Yes.
next 2 minutes. Let's have Opeyemi. Opeyemi, where are you now on this?
Yes, so I'm able to now put in values. I'd restart
See there?
the Excel file again. So I'm able to put in the values, but when I won't think it's an issue with my own Excel, my own file or system, but I'm able to put in the values, all the drop down values that weren't working before.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
working now,
Will
but
you be
it's not
will
running the
you like
result.
to share your screen just so let us see where you are?
I'm using a different system. I'm using my phone for the meeting because
Okay, you're
my
not using your
battery,
phone
laptop
for
battery is
the
low.
connection. Ah,
Yes,
okay,
so
okay.
I can't
Okay.
share screen.
Okay. No, I understand.
But it's
Perfect.
put it just that I don't have a result yet. That-
Okay. When you do have a result, let's know. Joseph, will you be able to share your screen
Yeah, I mean,
so that we'll see?
I see there are a lot of people connected. So
Yes.
all the guys connected, what's up? Are you guys okay? Who is
The-
not actually running it? So that we know that
yes. So that we
we know
know.
who's
Yeah.
running it. Can we know who's running it?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you are not running it, then it, like I said, it doesn't really help because we can't rely on you to give feedback. So it's good to know who is running it.
Yeah, I'm trying to share my screen now.
Has yours run though?
So he's trying to run. Let's see what he has. Okay.
Okay, has it run though? Well, I think that you should go offline. Yeah, first run it, and then when it runs, you share your screen. Otherwise, you may have problems sharing and then trying to enter at the same time, like I was having. So just create your scenarios, run it, and then when you have results, you can show your screen, and then go to the results section, and then we'll use yours to go ahead and make some discussion. Is there anybody else who is running it and has results or not? I see lots of people connected. Okay. Also, I saw that you were live streaming it, so there may be people, but those guys can't provide feedback. So if you guys can't share what you're doing, it doesn't help the other people who are connected to the live stream.
Yeah, the other thing by live streaming is that they can also go back to the recordings later and please refresh the memory.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think we're set to finish at 8:30. Is that what it is, Wale?
Yes, we can finish any moment from now, but we're just waiting for either of the two people that are active so that we
Okay.
can get their feedback, especially their results, and use that to learn. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Mm.
Yes, sir. For me, each time I try to run, it's still giving me because the code is incompatible with my version. So I might need to update the version of my Excel to help with this app. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to have a result to present, but I'm able to put in all the values as instructed, but I'm not able to get a result because of the error message, sir.
Yeah. So basically my only suggestion is that, yeah, you may have an older Excel, which is not, it's not compatible. So you just need to update your Excel. If you are getting it from your institution, it shouldn't be difficult to update it.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And we've discussed all the process. So later on, when you run it, you have some questions, you can just email me and then let me know what you think, or if you have any questions and how you can use it. But yeah, like I said, this version is good enough to use for a lot of analysis, to write papers, etc. Yeah. Another way to think about it is that, given the limitations that the current model is for this particular one on Ghana, you can also think about conducting the analysis in a way that allows you to suggest ways of improving it, right? So from research perspective, it's not just using the research, the analyzing it to get results. You can also analyze it from the perspective of how the model can be improved. And then through that, some of your questions, some of your comments is what I was hoping that we would discuss, so that I could have shared some of the things that I am thinking about in terms of in customization, where I am, some of the new things that I'm doing. But if I don't get feedback from you, I just feel that I'll be talking for nothing. That's my feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, because most of the fellows are either master's, doctoral student, or postdoc, who may be interested in going further on this. I was just thinking if it's possible, if they have, in case they want to align their research to something like this, whether you be available to support them or help them to customize to their study. The other thing I also wanted to contribute is that this model, just like any model, there are a lot of assumptions, which, when relaxed, may not make the model to run properly, or to give you the right decision that you want to make. So, for instance, I saw less than 25% or more than 25%. We have some outliers or some strange situation that may happen that will make it to be more or less. For instance, the third one is that the policy from country to country or inter sectors. This is majorly focusing on agriculture or related to agriculture, but there can be other uh, economy-wide model that you want to use, or you want to break down, you want to apply it to different sector apart from agriculture. Now we have the Kampala Declaration, and looking forward, some of the, for instance, we may have more than 10%. We may have in terms of public expenditure, and we may also want to reduce or increase something that is already more than what you are stating here. So, ability to adjust this may be something to look at in developing the model further to customize to people. I was thinking that anybody can just pick the model and adjust. But what I see now is that you are really constrained to what is already there. And even bringing in new data is not possible. Thank you.
Yes, Wale. So, I mean, you are right. So the thing is that the data that you are bringing in, so I'm referring it from the front to the back. So the data that you are bringing in is creating your scenario to run based on what I have already developed, right? So, like I said, the idea of the app is that it is not an app it is not an existing app that works for all situations. It is an app that has to be customized to work for a particular situation. So doing that means working with a person to create the app that works for them. That is the fundamentals. On the other hand, there are some, since I am starting out, I would only develop some few apps for general public use, right? The only reason why I can generate an app that for a general public use is that I have funding to do it. So fundamentally, there's two sources of funding. Funding to do develop the app that works under many situations and conditions that is available to the public. And then specific apps that I customize for my clients. And that is for my clients to use. It's not for public use, because lots of time people don't want you to know how they are investing. And because that is where the challenge on getting the investment data comes from, right? If right now I'm trying to collect information on government investment, it is very difficult data to use, especially if you are going to put it in the public domain. We know that. I've worked on this for many, many years. But if I'm developing an app just for the government or for a ministry, I'm assuming that they will be more likely to give me the data that they want, which I'm not putting in the public domain. I'm only developing the app for them. So that is the constraint within which you have to imagine the decision-making framework. On the assumptions in the framework, so the ranges that allows you to input the data, they are not assumptions per se, they are limitations. When I customize it when we customize it for a particular situation, then based on the user's interest, we can open it up, we can make the constraints as wide as possible. So this is just another way to do it. The other way is that we can build in the app itself that allows you to change the constraints. So we build it into the app. You will not be able to edit. You don't edit the code. I would say that I will allow you to set the limitations, right? So basically, that I can use in developing future app. On the data, yeah, like I've said, the data itself, you can look at it, and it also helps you to use the same data, right? So the data, you can copy it. Only that you can't edit the file. So you can copy it however you want. It's there so that you can use it, because that data, I put a lot of work trying to source it from different sources. I use my own data from Ghana. I use FAO. I use FAOSTAT. I went to UNCTAD, OECD, and I've compiled it. It's there. So the sources are there. So basically, you can just copy the data however you want to do your own research. So I'm providing a lot of resources for the general public in terms of how they can think of doing things. My hope is that I get some funding to do more work for the public, where I put data out. I put the app out under many situations. But like I said, for me, my main interest is that when you put things out and people don't use it, it's not worth it. So I don't want to waste my time just putting things out in the public domain. I'm really hoping that I can have some clients who are interested to actually apply it, right? When we design something for them and then they apply it, they use it, they give feedback. They say, this is not good. We want it like this. We update it the following year. And then based on that, we know that it works. People have used it. We can get some testimonials, and then we can branch into public domain things. But as you know, Wale, for example, for RESAX, we develop so many things on the tools. You know, we have the data tracking system, we have tracking naive, we have things that we apply, but people just don't use it, or very few people use it. You know, even trying to improve the CAADP database. Me and my working group, also your working group, we've done so much analysis on trying to promote how to improve the data quality, and it's not being picked up. So basically, my understanding, or the way I interpret it, is that the user who I'm thinking about, the leaders who should take this up, are not interested in it specifically, right? Because they are not creating any specific demand. And I want to avoid those things. I want to avoid working in the vacuum. And so that is why I am pursuing this path for now. I am only going to put 2 more apps out still as demonstration. The next app is going to be on an app that focuses on ODA, development assistance. So it's going to be similar to this one, but I'm building it's a different decision-making context. So the decision-making is about cost effectiveness of ODA. And so looking at how using past ODA data and aggregate at the developing country level. And so I'm going to estimate the same things. And then now look at going forward, how we can the best way to use the ODA funds to improve outcomes, right? And so it will be similar thing, but it's a different decision-making context. The next one is now looking at private sector. But here the private sector is interested in profits, right? So that is not our interest. They have their own methods and apps that they use. But I'm more interested in the private sector who is also interested in some public aspects, like, for example, employee welfare, community development, so that it allows to bring in some of the public sector outcomes, you know, so that then I can use the same app to develop, I can use the same framework to develop an app for the private sector with a public sector interest, right? And then those are the showcases of what the app and the framework can do. And then hopefully I can move on to say develop something for the public domain, but also focus on client usage. I saw somebody.
Thanks very much, Sam. I think you are just giving me a roadmap to you're retired but not tired. So you already have a plan for the next 10 years, more or less, to keep you active. I think that's really commendable. Joseph Taiwo, you are back. Are you ready to share your screen now or share your testimony about the results?
Okay, yes, I've been able to run the thing. So let me share the screen.
So when you run, did it say you got results?
Yeah, it's brought a prompt solution found.
Okay, so when you clicked on it, then yes.
Let me try and share the screen so that everyone will see you. Okay. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yeah, nice. So click, okay, so yeah, before you click, okay, so like I was saying, when you run the model, it shows you that, right? And so it is either you have found a solution. No, Taiwan speaking, I'm just speaking generally so that everybody can hear, and then I'll come to yours. So it will show the pop-up screen to say a solution has found or cannot be improved, or solution not found, right? No feasible solution found. So it's either one of those two. So when the pop-up screen comes, either one, when you click on OK, if a solution is found, then clicking OK will take you to the results page. Like right now, you saw Taiwo clicked it and it has come to the results, which we'll talk about it a little bit. If it is no, when you click on it, it will take you back to the simulations tab, where now you have to make some corrections. Okay, so this is nice. So now we can explore what Taiwo has found. So Taiwo, from the top, you can briefly explain what you simulated so that we all know what you're trying to do.
Okay, actually, I just for the sake of this, I'm still trying to understand the concept. So I just selected the variables, I mean the investment and the outcome based on the explanation made. So initially, when I first ran the simulation, so it brought like a prompt that no result found. So I edited some some fields and rerun the simulation, and I got this result. So basically now I can't, I'm just, it's just a test. So I don't quite understand the uh the result here until I go further to to make some research and to read further on it. Thank you.
No, you don't need to read further. I had already explained to you what the results mean. So the results come as percentage change from the baseline, right? So for example, you pick the baseline of 2022. So when you look at your simulation results at the bottom, you see the baseline. So the values there represent all your 2022 baseline values for all the outcomes and your investments, right? And here okay, you simulated that you want the fisheries, the growth rate in aquaculture, right? That's what you simulated.
Okay.
You wanted to increase it by 5 percentage points. So
okay,
growth rates, because they are growth rates, you can't do percentage, right? So it's percentage points. So basically you want to increase the 2022 baseline value by 5 percentage points. That is what you have simulated. Okay. So the blue highlights give you the blue highlights tell you what you want to simulate, what you have simulated. Okay. So basically in your simulation, you picked aquaculture growth rate. You also picked crop production index. You also pick total fish growth rate, and you pick food production index. But for the other ones, you pick 0, 0, 0. That's what you pick, right? And so basically, those are the ones that have been highlighted for you. So if we go to the aqua fisheries growth rate, you can see it was it was growing at 48.45% in 2022, right? And you said you want to increase it by 5 percentage points.
5%.
So it has given you your value, right? Right? So that is what it is. You have achieved your target now. The others, you picked 0, 0, 0. Okay? You did not pick anything. So basically, it has given you values that are close to 0. But what should happen is that it should be 0. Basically what the simulation did was that it started from your field results. When you did your field results, that is where it started from. But for now, it doesn't matter. And then you pick that for all other outcomes, you picked an unconstrained model. So because when your investments change, the other outcomes too can change, right? In this model that we have specified. So that is what you are seeing for all your other outcomes. So just scroll down slowly. So basically it is telling you that the other outcomes also have changed because your investments have changed, right? Focusing on the 4 that you picked, right? Yeah. So that is what it means. It's just giving you the percentage change from the baseline values. Okay. So now let's go down to the investments. Yeah, the fixed factors, you didn't choose anything, so you don't have any results. Okay, stop. Go down a little bit. Okay, now stop. Okay, so basically these are your investments, right? So then the baseline again shows you the baseline values, right? And now the right-hand side, the ones showed you how investments should change to allow you to achieve the outcomes that you selected, right? So that is what it is telling you. So I use the colors to say what has gone up, what has increased, and then I use the red to say what has decreased. So basically it is telling you to reduce your allocation to fisheries, which somehow may sound counterintuitive, and also reduce your allocation to R&D, and then increase your allocation to the ones that have positive values. That is what it's telling you, right? And then if you scroll down a little bit, it tells you the allocation. Okay, it tells you the allocation. So stop here. Yeah, it tells you the allocation. So basically, the total amount that needs to be allocated is 0.17 million Ghana cedis in 2022 prices. That is what it's telling you. But because you didn't give a budget, it is telling you this is how much you need to reallocate, right? And so take some from fisheries and R&D and give it to the other sectors. That is what the explanation is. You can also look at it you go down, and also it gives you the percent of the total, right? It gives you the percent of the total. So you can see from that 0.17, how much each sector should get, right? In percentage terms. So when you add all of that, it is 100. And so it just gives you that. And then the total amount is there. And then how much? So ag budget, basically the ag sector loses. And then you go down a little bit, and then I've given you the color codes, right? So the color codes gives you your primary target or simulation. Those are the ones highlighted in blue. So anything you specifically pick, it gives you in blue. It highlights it to blue. And then your others is just giving you the change, right? So that you can get a bird's eye view of whether something has increased or decreased. But the actual values are shown. So yeah, so those are your results. You can also see your results in the charts on the right-hand side, right? Okay. So if you scroll up a little bit, yeah, the results are there. It also highlights it there. Now the question is whether your scenario is what you want. Does the scenario make sense? Is it what you are looking for? And then you can run more, you can change the scenario, you can shock it, you can do that. But now you've run your own scenario and it has, you only had really one outcome. But you can have, you can change it, you can add more budget, you can reduce the budget, you can also run say, okay, I don't want to add any budget. I even want to assume that all the investments are the same. Yeah, so that interface allows you to do a lot, Wale. So even though you can see that they are constrained -25 to that, you don't have to focus on that for now. There is so much you can already do within those constraints to understand how the model works, right? So it is only after you have appreciated how the model works that we can even begin to think of the customization and all the other bells and whistles. Otherwise, we'll be thinking too grand when we are not even able to use it. So, like I've said, thanks, Taiwo, for showing this. So I haven't created anything. This is what you created. And so the only thing is, yeah, you can get a paper. You can also download the brochure for this particular Ghana model. But again, the thing is to run as many simulations that you think make sense for improving agri-food investment within the general economy, because there are also other outcomes. Huh? The other outcomes, like I said, nutrition, health, employment. You can also adjust, bring in all those other things, even within the framework that it is for now. And that allows you to understand the potential of DST for EFIN when you remove all the constraints that Wale, you are discussing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sam. I think you've given us a lot to share and to always come back to you if we have further clarification. At this point, I would like us to stop, and I would like one of the mentees to give a vote of thanks. Angelique, if you are able to unmute yourself, can you say something to our illustrious son of the continent and the guest speaker for today? Is actually not a guest speaker on our program, but just to be able to appreciate it. Angelique, can you do something? Angel?
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, just introduce yourself, where you joining us from, and your program in the fellowship. Then you thank our guest speaker. Go ahead. We have not had you since we started. Thank you.
My name is Angelique Manishime. I'm doing a master's in agribusiness management in Malawi, but as of now, I'm in Rwanda. So I really appreciate our guest for today for sharing the knowledge about how to use that tool. But I really sorry because I joined later, but maybe next time I'll join Eric to get more information. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for thanking him, and we will share the recording so that you can follow and stay strong. Because, as you know, you have to report on your participation, and you need to have a full grasp of it. And if you still want more explanation, our guest is available. His email, I will share the presentation. He will have his email there, and you can follow up with him. He's ready to help. Happy to help always. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day and have a wonderful September to remember. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Wally. Thanks,
Thank
y'all.
you.
Bye.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Yeah.
Bye.